sorry about that, I'm just in a really big rush. See, today is the day that Marty McFly and Doc Brown come back to the future. At exactly 4:29 p.m., they'll be here, and I plan on joining them on their trip back to the 80s, as you can see. Oh, I see that look in your eyes. You think just because it's a movie that they're not actually coming. Well, you know, I will admit they didn't completely predict the future correctly, but they did get a few things right. It's actually pretty cool now that I think about it. You know, I can spare a little bit of time. I can spare a little time to talk to you about it. Where do I start? Flying cars.
In the movie, we see flying cars, and you can get one for the low price of $39,999.95. Now, today, a company named Terrafugia is set on creating a flying car that works in a way to take off like a helicopter and then transform and to fly like a plane, a lot like the ones in Back to the Future. However, this one's not on the market.
Now, that flying car may not be here yet, but mark my words, a combination airplane and motor car is coming. You may smile, but it will come. Those are the famous words that Henry Ford predicted in 1940. He believed it would happen. And well, my friend, it has.
A Slovakian company named Aeromobile has created the first flying car, called the Aeromobile 3.0. They claim that it'll be on the market by 2017, just missing the 2015 deadline. And it only takes off like a plane, unlike the hovercraft-likeness of flying cars in Back to the Future 2. So yeah, we do have flying cars. They're just not on the market like Back to the Future 2 would have you believe.
So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Now, one prediction we know didn't come true was the neon-colored streetlights on the curve of the road. Thank God. But another prediction they didn't get right was 2015 fashion.
According to the movie, 2015 fashion consists of pockets inside out, rainbow hats, robotic vests with sound effects, double ties, and metal visor glasses. And not a single one of them has come true. What a shock. And unfortunately, we don't have the size adjusting and self-drying jackets like Marty had. No such technology has even come out yet.
However, one thing they did get right was the Nike High Top Mags self-tying shoes. In 2011, replicas were made, but there were only about 1,500 of them. But they were all sold to raise money for the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research.
Nike claims that before 2015 ends, they will release the shoe with actual self-tying technology. However, a San Francisco inventor, Blake Bevan, has already created a self-tying shoe.
Now, for another prediction the movie didn't get right was the prediction of lawyers being abolished. They're still alive and well. However, some jobs soon might be obsolete due to the increased use of automation and robotics, which is something the movie kinda got right.
For instance, the automatic gas pumps we see in the movie. The Husky Corporation in Sweden has created an automatic gas fuel pump. The pump has cameras to find the fuel door and opens it up with a suction cup. Then it guides the nozzle into the hole. Now, they may not be in every gas station you go to, but they do exist. We also see that robotic technology runs restaurants. While it's not mainstream, there are restaurants that do this. A restaurant located in a shopping mall in Ningbo, China, has robots that actually take your order and serve you your food. Another restaurant in Nuremberg, Bavaria, has an automated restaurant without robots. Michael Mack, the owner, had to install the kitchen directly beneath the roof of the restaurant. Guests order their meals using a touchscreen system, and special-made hot pots slide down a still spiral, using gravity before coming to a slow stop on rails slanted upwards at the customer's table. Kind of similar to how Pepsi's just show up on the table in the 80s Nostalgia Cafe. 3 other uses of robotic technology include floating news cameras, robotic trash cans, and even robots that walk your dog. Let's knock these out pretty quick. Flying news cameras are what we call drones. These definitely exist. We don't have robots that pick up trash around town. The closest thing is a trash bin created in Japan that moves itself to catch trash as you throw it at it. We also don't have robots that walk your dog around for you, but one man is trying to create such a robot named Luna. It can move and walk the dog, and is scheduled to be released to the public December 2015. However, it would have issues picking up poop or even controlling hyper dogs. I don't think we're quite ready for this.
Now, the movie doesn't just predict enhanced robotics alone, but the use of bionic implants. In the scene where Biff's grandson Griff gets in a fight with Marty, they make it out to look like Biff has bionic implants that make him stronger than the regular person. But how true is this?
This is all pretty much real. We have prosthetic limbs, muscles, hearing aids, artificial hearts, replaced eyes, and even brain microchips that increase your memory. Muscles can be replaced with a synthetic polymer gel that expands and contracts in response to small electrical currents. These could actually make a person have stronger than normal muscles, just like Biff's grandson in the movie.
Now, what about predictions made about what we do in our free time? It portrays our sources of entertainment a lot differently than that of the 80s. However, only about half of those predictions came true. For instance, I don't think Jaws 19 will be coming out anytime soon, and Steven Spielberg's son Max didn't go into the family business of directing movies.
A holographic movie doesn't exist either. I mean, we have holograms, but not the technology to render them fast enough to play in a movie theater. This, by the way, is much different than a 3D movie. Holographic movies would be without glasses and would just be projected out of the screen. But we do have holograms in some concerts though, like the Gorillaz characters, Tupac, Michael Jackson, and even a Japanese anime musician named Vocaloid. Now what about nostalgia cafes? Well yeah, just look at Sonic Drive-Thru and Steak and Shake. Now what about the predictions the movie made about video games? We don't actually see any futuristic video games in the movie, but it is hinted at that all video games are played without controllers.
You mean you have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy.
Oh, baby games, huh? I dare a kid to say that about the classics. The arcade games of the 80s go down in history as one of the greatest video games of all time! This stupid kid probably wouldn't even last 2 levels in Galaga. Oh, sorry about that. Anyway.
But yes, we do have the kind of technology to play video games without your hands. The Kinect lets you play certain games without any controllers at all, along with other brands of motion camera games, like the PS4 camera, and it even goes back to 2003 with the PlayStation iToy, a less advanced version.
Billy's on the TV! Billy's on the TV! Billy! On the TV!
However, it's not the only kind of video games we play. We still very much use controllers. We even have new virtual reality games with 360 treadmills and eyewear. You play the game by moving your body and shooting a fake gun controller to make it feel like you're actually in the game. Now what's next on the list? Bats that open up like lightsabers? Yeah, I'm sure we have the technology for this, but what's the practical use? This just didn't catch on. Now for the biggest hype prediction that the movie made, hoverboards. Yes, we do technically have hoverboards. They're just not mainstream and being used by kids everywhere. The only 2 hoverboards that really exist are the Hendo board, which Tony Hawk rode, but it only works when used on magnetized surfaces, and it only works for a short period of time. Then there's the Lexus Slide hoverboard, which hovers through a combination of magnets and superconductors being cooled by a lot of liquid nitrogen. However, it only floats above a specially constructed hover park made by Lexus, so still no hoverboards that can be used freely anywhere, like in the movie. Also, powered surfboards. These do exist. A company named JetSurf actually has jet-powered surfboards, there's just not a mass market for them yet. The movie also predicts that there'll be giant hologram TVs instead of the giant screens like we see in Times Square. Yeah, the technology technically exists, but it's not advanced enough to be used as giant news or advertising screens similar to the giant TV screens found in Times Square.
On that note, there's a scene in the movie where a holographic screen announces that the Cubs won the World Series against Miami. That's a pretty specific claim to make.
While Miami did in fact start a baseball team, the Miami Marlins, they're not heading to the World Series this year. And the Cubs in Miami didn't play for the World Series championship last year either. However, interesting enough, the Cubs are in the run to go to the World Series this year. Also, if you look closely at the newspaper in the future, apparently bionic implants are the new steroids, and players actually get in trouble for using them. Now, there has been talk about if prosthetic limbs give Olympic competitors an unfair advantage, but there's not enough progression in bionic technology that players are getting caught for using secret bionic enhancements.
Oh god, what time is it? 5:30 already? Oh well. But you really don't want to go yet. See, I'm just getting to the best part. Predictions about modern homes. Now, see, the movie predicts modern homes to be like a fully automated setup, like the doors without doorknobs.
Now, we obviously have automatic doors in supermarkets, malls, and in high secure locations such as military buildings. However, the use of a handleless door on most homes, that's just not the case. Also, houses that talk as you enter. This is not very common, unless you're some douchey rich person who just wants it.
Dad's home.
Lord of the manor,
Hello, hello.
king of the castle.
Food holders that come out of the ceiling. This trend just didn't seem to catch on. We still use regular cabinets, using voice commands for everything.
Hard time keeping track
fruit.
of these days.
Fruit,
One of those moods I have.
Thank you.
Voice commands are something that have been created and are well used today. We use voice commands in our computers, our game consoles, and even our phones. Siri, will you be my girlfriend?
Well, this is awkward.
However, they haven't quite been advanced enough to be like talking to a real person.
Voice commands only work with certain phrases though. If they could understand everything we said, it would be more practical to use them. But because of that, we still use our hands to press buttons too. It also predicts that TVs are used as art displays and that people watch multiple channels at once. We definitely don't use TVs as changing art frames, unless you're at some lame hotel. However, we can watch more than one channel at once. Just no one would actually watch 6 channels at once, like Marty's kid. Windows with scenery projections. These are not installed into every home like the movie would lead you to believe, but they do exist. A company named Sky Factory has just that. A digital virtual screen for your window that plays nature scenes. And they predicted that fax machines would still be in high use all over the house. Yeah, no, fax machines are pretty much done.
Which leads me to talk about the movie's predictions about communication. Now, while the movie didn't foresee that we would have cell phones in our hands at all times, it did predict that we would need the constant attention of technology at all times.
The movie also predicts that we will have glasses that work like a screen and have speakers, so that you can watch TV or take phone calls on them. And yeah, we do have technology like this, it's just not as popular as it's portrayed in the movie. There are glasses created to watch TV on them, although I don't think anyone really uses them. And then there's also Google Glass, which lets you hear spoken text messages, take pictures, and make phone calls on them. Those are a little more popular, but still not very widespread. And in the movie, all phone calls are done through video chat. Yes, we do use this. We have Skype and FaceTime, which is becoming more and more popular nowadays. Granted, it's not all we use, phone calls are still alive and well. And they did incorrectly predict that a lot of payphones would still be around. There are a few, there's just not a lot because of cell phones. Also, during these video calls, it tells you all the information about a person automatically. Our Skype calls don't give us all the details about a person during the call, but it does have a profile where you can learn certain specifics.
However, another incorrect prediction that didn't even come close was the fact that we would be able to predict the weather down to the second.
Wait 5 more seconds. Right on the tick. Amazing.
No, we still don't have the ability to predict accurately what the weather will be like even an hour into the future, especially not down to the second, because the prediction of weather is based on factors of each individual air molecule in the area, something we just can't know. However, there is an app out called Dark Sky that claims that it can know down to the minute when it will begin raining.
Does it really work? I don't know. Get it and let me know. God, I'm getting really hungry right now. Which reminds me, that prediction about being able to hydrate little pizzas into fully cooked large pizzas is a bunch of crap. You can't hydrate anything. The only way to do that is to boil it. So that still doesn't exist. That's probably one of the most disappointing wrong predictions of them all. But better not to dwell in the past. Good news is that they did get a few other things right.
Like the prediction of biometrics. Biometrics is the science and technology of measuring and analyzing biological data. For instance, the prediction of facial recognition technology. This is used in all kinds of technology. The government can use it, it can be used in gaming consoles, picture taking, security cameras, and even opening accounts and doors. Facial recognition is very advanced and able to find a face out of a huge crowd in just seconds. This might be one of the most accurate predictions of the movie. Then there's the prediction of finger scanning technology to identify people and open house doors. This is a pretty accurate prediction. We use this on our own cell phones, and it can be used to open computers, doors, or anything really to identify a person. It isn't, however, used to open all house doors. Regular keys and locks are still in use. The movie also predicts that we'll be able to use our fingerprints to pay for stuff instead of just using cards or cash. And this is actually becoming a thing. The new Samsung Galaxy S5 phone is the first phone to allow you to pay for something using your fingerprint, similar to the device that Biff used to pay the taxi driver. However, some stores are even starting to implement the fingerprint payment in their stores, such as McDonald's and Kroger.
Now, just to make sure that I covered everything, here's a list of predictions that the movie didn't even come close to getting right.
Books now have dust repellent paper.
It has a dust jacket. Books used to have these to protect the covers. Of course, that was before they had dust repellent paper.
This one has been completely busted. No dust repellent paper has been invented or is even in the works. It was just a random, far-fetched idea. Floating machines that help your back. This is called inversion therapy, which claims that hanging upside down can relieve and help back pain. Inversion therapy rigs have been around before the movie Back to the Future 2, but there has been no attempt at a floating inversion rig device. It's just kind of impractical and not needed. And lastly, a machine that can put people to sleep instantly. Now, there's no device that can instantly put someone to sleep, especially not one that emits light to induce it, since light actually makes it harder to sleep. And even if there was one, it certainly wouldn't be open to the public to use.
And that's what the movie got right and wrong about the year 2015. Wait, what time is it? 7 p.m. already? They're leaving in 28 minutes. Listen, thanks for listening. It was great, but I really have a time traveling DeLorean to catch.
Hey, McMasters.
Huh?
We've got some unfinished business to take care of.
Listen, I just don't have time for this. I really gotta get going, so...
Oh, what are you, a chicken?
What did you call me?
I called you a chicken.
Nobody calls me chicken.